in business. And today, guys, we are bringing you how to prevent hackers from getting into your blog. My name is Wendy Fore, and again, this is Breaking Barriers in Business, and we are talking about keeping hackers out of your blog. And joining me today is my illustrious co-host on our brand new YouTube channel, Katrina, Chef Katrina, otherwise known as Chef Katrina in the marketing world. And if you want to stalk her, you stalk her as the Chef Katrina, and she loves stalkers. So find her on all social media channels as the Chef Katrina. Chef, you want to come on for a minute and tell everybody about you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is a blast. So we're on a new platform. For those that have been following us, we've actually had an incredible journey, Wendy and I. We've taken Cash Life Mastery and all about blogging from the Blab platform to the Fire Talk platform and now to the YouTube platform. I have to say this has been a lot of fun because we get to learn the different platforms, honestly. So it's been a bit of a pain in the butt. And what I love is that our audience, you guys, are really following us from one side to another. So we are absolutely testing this platform out for the first time. So this is our very first time being on the YouTube channel doing a live broadcast. So this is really cool for us. So we're excited that you guys are able to be here with us, hang out with us, and really be flexible in following us across all these different platforms. Because I know it can be challenging, not only for Wendy and I, but also for you as a viewer, because you really have to learn a new system every time we move, right?
Exactly.
Not just us learning in the system, it's then educating you on how to like, how to comment, how to engage with us. So it definitely is something that you guys are amazing that you're here with us and taking place and following us as we do our Tuesday blab about or blab or blob or something about blogging.
We have renamed the show Breaking Barriers in Business, and we are talking about blogging on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern every single day, or every single week, excuse me. So guys, thank you again, like Chef said, for following us over to YouTube, but we feel like we were going to do something tried and true instead of trying out all these here today and gone tomorrow type deals. So we wanted somewhere that you guys could find us every single week without question, and it ended up that YouTube was that decision for us. So again, thank you. And Chef, let's start talking about hackers, because it seems like a little bird told me that when you first started marketing that you did not protect your site and you got hacked. Is that true?
It's so true. You know, what's funny though is that when you first get online, and I'm sure this is for many of you guys that are joining us here today, there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot of confusion around getting a blog started. There's like 1,000 different website platforms and all sorts of crazy stuff that you can be using, and it's a little overwhelming, right? So I, like many of you, finally figured out that a self-hosted blog was the way to go. And I did my best trying to figure out what plugins I needed. And for some reason, I got all caught up in the technology. Like I wanted to have my email plugin. I wanted to have my spam. Like for me, spam was the worst thing possible, Wendy. Could you imagine? I was more worried about spam than anything else.
Oh yeah, aren't we all worried? Because you know what? Spam slows your site down. You know, it causes people to advertise on your channel. Your customers see all kinds of weird links and think your site's freaky.
Yeah, so for me,
that's what we're taught. Worry about spam.
Yeah, I was worried about spam. I was worried about all like the pornography spam and like, you know, all the life health and all the crazy stuff that was going on my site. Like I wanted to protect my site from that, because that was what everybody was talking about at the time I started blogging. No one mentioned security. So my site, as it got popular, got hacked, lo and behold. And it was a great hack because it didn't affect the desktop version of my site and my courses. It actually affected the mobile of my site. And these hackers did a great job that when I thought I had everything fixed, when you went online and you checked my site from your mobile device, you got redirected to, yes, you guessed it, a porn application. Very graphic, very descriptive, not what I was in the business of doing. Really hard to be promoting a blogging course when it redirects to a porn site. Just saying out loud.
Well, you know, if your customers wanted an education, they certainly got one then, didn't they?
It was an eye-opening experience, to say the least. So not only did I get hacked,
popping.
yeah, so not only did I get hacked and have to figure out how to get unhacked and get my site back, but then they planted this nice little virus bug on there that only activated on mobile. And since I spent a lot of my time on desktop, I had no idea until one of my clients called me up and said, you know, your blogging course is redirecting to a porn site. I didn't even know what to say.
I
right?
can't even imagine the embarrassment with that.
Yeah. So I learned really quickly that having security on your site was critical. And there's a couple things I want to let you guys know. So Wendy knows this for sure. When you are creating your website for the very first time, the default of a WordPress platform is actually admin. You should never, ever, 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 ever use admin. Because it is the default, it's the most gone after username, and all a hacker has to do then is spend some time just breaking the password. So while it's harder to try to go after the name and the password, you make it real easy if you leave the username as admin and only change the password, right? Because the ability to hack that is much easier for those that are out there. There are people that are sitting at their desk right now that want nothing more than to hack your WordPress site, and they do it for fun. It's not to be malicious. They just want to see if they can do it, and if they get in, they're going to plant some sort of virus on your computer just because, hey, you let them in. And they want to let you, as a friendly reminder, know that you probably should have protected your site.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Chef, but when you're setting up your WordPress site and you are setting up your username, if you set it up as admin, I don't believe that there's a way to go back and change that username, is there?
You can actually delete that account as long as you set up the second user. So you have to set up a second user, and you have to make that user the primary. So there is a way to go into the user application of your WordPress blog, set up a new user, and give that user the admin access. So as long as you have at least one admin on the account, you're fine. But you probably just don't want the administrator accessing that account.
Okay, so in other words, you're coming in through the second user instead of the
admin,
because you give the second user control. That's right. I think we did that before.
Yep. Yeah. So you're giving the second user control, and then if you can, if you're just starting out, you don't have anything on for that first user, you can delete admin, I believe, because you don't necessarily need it. And you've given the second user the admin ability. So at that point, you can just have that as your username and password, which is awesome.
And of course, the best way to avoid it is just don't use admin when you set it up initially. Yep. You know. But for those of you who have done that, or like a lot of times when you're having something set up for you, you know, you're paying someone to do a site for you, and then they hand it over, and your username is admin. You know, you're like, oh, great. I wish you know.
Yes, not what I would recommend. So one of the other things too, not only do you want to make sure that you protect it by not using the admin as your login, you also want to make sure you have a plugin on your site, right, for security. And there is one that I'm using right now. It's called, I want to say it's iControl. Let me double check it. It's got a shield on there. It's the WordPress backup type thing. And basically it's a shield. We had to go this route because unfortunately I was using another one that was out there, Wendy, and it kept blocking everything I was doing. It would put up firewalls on everything. So if I was doing anything, it was annoying as heck. Hold on, let me pull it up real quick. Let me just make sure I have the right name for you guys on this one.
Right.
Making sure you have the right name for this. But this was something, you know, I go through and I talk with a lot of different bloggers. What are they using for security? What's the best thing to do? And this one was recommended to me. Oh, it's WP Simple Firewall.
Is that a free version?
It is the free version. So let's go, if we go to, so you guys, if you guys go to Google, or if you go to WordPress.org, Wendy and I are big fans of this particular site. So WordPress.org, for those that are doing your own self-hosted site, WordPress.org is your playground, right? This is your app store. This is your theme store. This is your support. This is for developers, creators, all that fun stuff. So WordPress.org is really where you would want to go to find the extras or add-ons that you would need for your blog. So for us, like, you know, for Wendy and I, we go here and we're like, okay, this is what we need. This is not what I wanted. And I'm like, okay, so the plugin I want to search is, it's WP. What did I say? WP
Simple Firewall.
Simple Firewall.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you guys the actual link for that one. And so there are totally different paid versions. There's a lot of things you guys can go after. This is the one. So this is great because you guys would look for this one and it would be completely different. For you guys that are looking for this, this is the one I recommend. So that one is that one for Wendy. So for those that are watching here on YouTube, so here is the WordPress plug. Ooh. Writing as I speak to you guys.
Okay, and what I'll do too is when we end the broadcast, I'll put this down in our notes. I actually copied the link, so they'll have a, you know, they can link it right off the YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh, it won't let you put a word. I won't let you put a URL inside of here.
I think it's there. You typed it and it's there.
On YouTube channel?
Yeah, I see where you
No,
typed.
no, not in here with us.
Oh.
I'm actually talking to our viewers that are watching this from the outside. It says message not sent. It says please remove a web address and try again. It actually will not let me post a web address to you guys that are watching this on the channel, which I think was actually quite interesting. So yeah, something we're learning about this one. So that's pretty interesting. So if you guys are going to go on, you're going to look for it. It actually says Shield WordPress Security is actually what it looks like in here. But the actual URL is WP Simple
Simple Firewall.
Simple Firewall. Wow, I can't even speak for you guys today. So I'm going to go ahead and post that name there. So that's the plugin is Shield WordPress Security. So if you look that up, you'll see it, and then it'll default into the URL. It'll say Simple Firewall. So WP Simple Firewall. That's a great one for you guys to have on your site. I highly recommend it. Tremendous support. Double checks for people that tried to aggressively hack into your site, and also just keeps your site protected and locked down, which is always awesome to have. So that's what I've got around that one, Wendy. Well, there's a couple other things you can do. So what other questions you have? Well,
one thing that I want to talk to you about is, like, what if somebody has been hacked? Are there things that they can do? Of course, I know probably you need a programmer if it's severe, but are there things that they can do or plugins they can run on their site to clear it being hacked? Anything that you know of that we can give them?
So if you get hacked, you have to go back to your hosting site. So whoever's hosting you, so like I had Just Host is who I use for my hosting site. So I had to call them up and actually have them access the site because they had to go in and remove basically some hacking code off my site. And I want to say it cost me, I want to say $65 to have them remove everything off my site. 30-day guarantee that if there was anything that was still on there, they would go in and fix it with no extra charge to me, which they did. So I really like using them. But when you get hacked, because typically what happens when you get hacked, and this is how you know you get hacked, all right? For many of you guys, have you guys ever seen the blue screen of death on a computer?
Yeah.
Right? So we call it the blue screen of death because if you get a blue screen, it basically means your computer's shutting down, dying, and you're about to lose everything. The hard drive is about to crash. So the equivalent of that on your website is the white screen of death, right? So what this means is that if you try to go into your site, right, and you try to log in as an admin into the back office, and you just get a white screen and you have no ability to get access to your site at all, like it's still running, but you can't access it. You as an admin are completely locked out. That is the first and most definitive sign that you've been hacked. Because welcome to the white wall of death. First thing you should do after you see that white wall is absolutely get on the phone with your hosting company and say, hey, I think I've been hacked. Help. And if they're a great hosting company, they should be able to go in and get that resolved for you within 24 to 48 hours, if not sooner. Because they know how important it is for you as a business owner to have your site up and operating. So stay with it, stay in the process of it. But yeah, white wall of death, definitely not your friend at all.
And so this kind of brings up something else, is you need to have a backup system. You need to be backing up your site. And this is where I see a lot of people go wrong. They're not backing up their site, so they don't have the ability to re-put it up once they've been hacked, and the hosting company, they may have to completely wipe you clean, and then you have nothing. You got to start all over. And I have seen people have that happen, where it was so bad that they just had to wipe it clean because there's nothing else they could do.
Yeah, that's one thing, again, I love about Just Host, because it has an automatic backup as part of your service when you go with them.
Yeah.
So it usually will go back a day. So they'll go back to just before the hack and say, we can restart your site from this day. So if there's anything between that one day, they can't reset it. But I was okay going back a day and having them just start from there and clear everything else off mine. So it really is kind of knowing the signs, making sure your site is protected. And absolutely, Wendy, getting your site backed up is one of the most critical things you can do. And there are plugins for that too that will back up your site. You can back it up onto your own hard drive. You can back it up onto a
Cloud version.
What?
Cloud version.
Yeah, cloud version. Put it up on there so that you can access it later. There's multiple ways to, but if you really are looking to use your website as your business tool, you need to protect it. You need to back it up. You need to make sure that you are, updating it, and that when you add these plugins onto your site. So here's another security hack most people don't know, but if you have out-of-date plugins that are active on your site or even inactive on your site, that is still a great way for hackers to hack into your site. Because they can go through old plugins and see who still has them on their site, whether they're active or not, and actually use that as a backdoor into your blog. So if you always want to make sure, A, that you're updating all your plugins, stay vigilant about that, okay? Yeah. And also make sure that if you have any plugins on your site that you're not using, that they're removed, right? There's no point having these extra plugins and things on your site if you're not using them. A, it slows down your site. Yeah. And it could potentially be a great way for hackers to come in and get into your site.
And I'm going to go back to the hosting thing for just a minute. I know a lot of people will use like private hosting because the hosting per year is cheaper, or they'll get hosting through a friend that, happens to do that. And so you need to look into that. I mean, yes, you might be saving money, but at least if you're going with a regular hosting company, most of the time, I would say 99.9% of them are backing up your sites already. Whereas if you're going with these private people or friends that have hosting ability, that's not an automatic thing where people will assume that it is. It's just not automatic.
Yeah. The other thing too, that I was actually told by a hacker. Yes, I hang out with hackers. Why? Because, well, they're the best source of information.
Exactly.
A lot of the times we get really excited as affiliates and we want everything on our site to have the affiliate link to it, right? So I know a lot of these themes out here, it says, hey, if you use my theme, you can, put this, it'll show up on your site if you click this button here, and it'll have your affiliate link and everything on it, so that if anybody's interested in buying it, they now can, blah, 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 which is great. But it's also another way for hackers to get into your site, because now they know the theme you're using. And if there's anything that goes awry or anything that gets slow, it's really like another backdoor into your site that hackers can access as another way to get onto your site. So as great as it is when these themes recommend, say, hey, go ahead and promote our site, you're really better off, honestly, creating a resource page on your blog and listing them as a resource that you recommend, as opposed to having that little hyperlink at the bottom that says, brought to you by or promoted by, or this, website is a product of whatever. That really is just another way to give access to your site. So it's better for you to have that as a resource on your page, on a page on your blog, as opposed to a direct link onto the site.
Wow, nugget bombs, chef, nugget bombs. Because I know I see a lot of that. People recommended their theme that they're actually using. I have seen that many times.
Yeah, way better off to use it as a recommended resource than to have it as a hyperlink at the bottom of your blog.
Well, yes. I think we have divulged a huge amount of information today. I appreciate you coming on and letting everybody know how to protect their sites, so they don't have to have the awakening of loading up a porn site like you did. I still love teasing you about that.
There's nothing like getting onto something like picking up your mobile phone, clicking to your site, and getting redirected to like graphic porn. Hey, check this out. And I was like, no.
But I guess we could say, if you want an eye-popping site, just ask Katrina how to get one.
That's not funny. It's gonna make me cry all over again.
Well, guys, thank you so much for spending your time with us today, and I really hope that this helped you, and that you'll go check out the plugins that we suggested, and maybe take a look at your site again. Make sure your hosting company is backing you up, and if not, then go to wordpress.org and look for backup plugins for your site. And Chef, next week we will be here again at 12 p.m. Eastern with more blogging topics. So guys, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you again next week. In the meantime, go to Cash Life Mastery on Facebook, and we will be posting the links for the YouTube channel and the topics that we will be talking about. And make sure you subscribe. If you're watching the replay, we appreciate you guys too. And get in touch with us over on Cash Life Mastery if you have any questions. And also make sure that you stalk Chef at the Chef Katrina on all social sites. Oh, Chef, we forgot. Put your link to your blogging course, dear.
I would, but again, I'm on our YouTube channel right now watching us. And I'm trying to comment on here, and I just think it's hysterical that I still cannot post the link in the live chat.
Oh wow!
So, because what we're doing in here, Wendy, what we're posting on the inside, only you and I can see it. This is not visible to the public because it's our internal chat that we're having.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So in order for us to get out there, there's actually you have to be on the channel. There's conversation that goes on out over there. And currently it will not allow us to do a live link to anything over here. So
we may have to try going through the OBS system then, because I know when we tested that there was a...
Yeah, there it is. So you have to work around it. So I put blogging ingredients is the site.com. So if you guys are looking to get access to that, that is the way to go. You can definitely, like I said, I try to put the links on here for Cash Life Mastery on Facebook for you, Wendy. It didn't quite go through, but we'll figure out. So just go to Cash Life Mastery, go to Facebook, search Cash Life Mastery. On Facebook, and you will find Wendy, and just like she said, she'll be posting up all the training and everything else that we're doing, and then just continue to follow us.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess we will end this broadcast and see how it looks as a viewer when it ends.
Hey, we're learning as we go. Have fun with us.
All right, guys. See y'all next week.